Everyone present today at this ceremony is part of the children's lives and represents some of the most important people for the family. On this momentous occasion, I would like to announce the twins' grandparents and the godparents who will guide these children and their lives forevermore. I am so grateful to not only perform this ceremony, but also to be counted among Bella and CJ's grandparents. My wife, Kim, and I are Christian's parents. We could not be more proud of our first two grandchildren and have gotten two at once. What a joy. We are joined by Christopher's parents, his mother Cece and his father Bob. It is such a privilege to be Bella and CJ's grandparents with each of them.
I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us how we used to be. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I fail, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they cannot take away my dignity. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if, by chance, that special place that you've been dreaming of leads you to a lonely place, find your strength in love.
Bella and CJ will share an equally important and influential group of godparents. In true Christian and Christopher fashion, the children will have not one godparent, not two godparents, but several godparents between them, covering all of the most important parts of their lives and offering such a uniquely different backgrounds, perspectives, and gifts for the children's futures. Their godparents with us in the room today include Christian and Christopher's younger brothers, Dominic Bromley and Alex Chur, and some of Christian and Christopher's best friends, Angelia Duncan, Lacey Goodwin, TJ Hubbard and Lynn Pham. Two of the children's godparents could not be with us today, but they are here in spirit, and I hear they are on FaceTime with us right now. It is with great pride I am the grandfather of these precious angels after all that I now formally present to you all the crowded Bromley twins, Christabel Elizabeth and Christopher James. With a yawn.
In the middle of New York, there's a great big park called Central Park. Children love to play there. It has a toy boat pond where they can sail their boats. It has a carousel to ride on in the summer and an ice rink to skate on in the winter. Best of all, it has its very own zoo. Every day, families of all kinds go to visit the animals that live there. But children and their parents aren't the only families at the zoo. The animals make families of their own. There are red panda families with mothers and fathers and furry red panda cubs. There are monkey dads and monkey mums raising noisy monkey babies. There are toad families and toucan families and cotton-top tamarin families too. And in the penguin house, there are penguin families. Every year, at the same time, the girl penguins start noticing the boy penguins, and the boy penguins start noticing the girls. When the right girl and the right boy find each other, they become a couple. Two penguins in the penguin house were a little bit different. One was named Roy, and the other was named Silo. Roy and Silo were both boys, and they did everything together. They bowed to each other and walked together. They sang to each other and swam together. Wherever Roy went, Silo went too. They didn't spend much time with the girl penguins, and the girl penguins didn't spend much time with them. Instead, Roy and Silo wound their necks around each other. Their keeper, Mr. Gramsay, noticed the two penguins and thought to himself, they must be in love. Roy and Silo watched how the other penguins made a home. So they built a nest of stones for themselves. Every night, Roy and Silo slept there together, just like the other penguin couples. And every morning, Roy and Silo woke up together. But one day, Roy and Silo saw that the other couples could do something they could not. The mummy penguin could lay an egg. She and the daddy penguin would take turns in keeping the egg warm until finally it would hatch and there would be a baby penguin. Roy and Silo had no egg to sit on and keep warm. They had no baby chick to feed and cuddle and love. Their nest was nice, but it was a little empty. One day, Roy found something that looked like what all the other penguins were hatching and brought it to their nest. It was only a rock, but Silo carefully sat on it and sat and sat. When Silo got sleepy, he slept, and when Silo had finished sleeping and sitting, he swam and Roy sat. Day after day, Silo and Roy sat on the rock, but nothing happened. Then Mr. Gramsay had an idea. He found an egg that needed to be cared for, and he brought it to Roy and Silo's nest. Roy and Silo knew just what to do. They moved the egg to the centre of their nest. Every day, they turned it so each side stayed warm. Some days Roy sat while Silo went for food, and other days it was Silo's turn to take care of their egg. They sat in the morning, and they sat at night. They sat through lunchtime and swimming time and supper. They sat at the beginning of the month, and they sat at the end of the month, and they sat all the days in between. Until one day, they heard a sound coming from inside their egg. Peep, 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 it said. Roy and Silo called back, squawk, squawk. Peep, peep, answered the egg. Suddenly, a tiny hole appeared in the egg shell, and then, crack! Out came their very own baby. She had fuzzy white feathers and a funny black beak. Now Roy and Silo were fathers. We'll call her Tango, Mr. Gramsay decided, because it takes two to make a tango. Roy and Silo taught Tango how to sing for them when she was hungry. They fed her food with their beaks. They snuggled her in their nest at night. Tango was the very first penguin in the zoo to have two daddies. And soon Tango grew up strong enough to leave the nest. Roy and Silo took her for a swim just like all the other penguin families. And all the children who came to the zoo could see Tango and her two fathers playing in the penguin house with the other penguins. Hooray, Roy! Hooray, Silo! Welcome, Tango! They cheered. At night, the three penguins returned to their nest. They were snuggled together, and like all the other penguins in the penguin house, and all the other animals in the zoo, and all the other families in the big city around them, they went to sleep.